Okay, so now we're going to talk about applying a function to every column. So if we can, then we can use this. Right. This. So we had a matrix called SalesM. Was it a matrix? Let's check it first. Well, let me do it. Okay, let's see what was SalesM. It's a yeah, it's a matrix, and so we had this, and if we apply apply to it, and we put a 2 here instead of a 1. If it was 1, it was rows. Here, it's columns. So we get the result of the columns. Then for a data frame instead of a matrix, you can go back and use the lapply or sapply functions, which we already talked about. Now we talked about them in the context of a list, but a data frame is a type of a list. So we can use those. And remember that they will be applied in the context of a list to each list element. But if the list is a data frame, then it will be to each column. So you can apply it to each column. You can apply a function to each column. And also remember that if you use lapply, it returns a list, and if you use sapply, it tries to simplify it and gives you a vector or a matrix. Okay? So that's the difference. So like I remember that sample hours was a data frame. So if I do sapply to this, let's not do range. If I do sapply to this, and I do mean, it's going to try and simplify it. Let's see what happens. That doesn't look right. But actually it is. Sample hours is just a single column. It is a data frame though, so we get just a single point here. If it was, if we did list apply to this, well, we probably wouldn't get a single number here. In fact, let's see. So now it's a list, as opposed to, and the first element in the list is equal to that, as opposed to a single entry or a vector. Okay? Okay, now suppose I want to, let me give another example, and suppose I want to remember what objects I've created and that are in memory here. You can do this. You can see all of them. And I remember that we had something called algae. So if I let's see what algae looked like. So the way to see just a part of it, because I remember it was quite big. If I do that, I can see part of it, and I can see these are the column names all the way over to here, and it just gives me 6 rows of the subset of the entire set. So that's algae, and it's a data frame. And suppose I want to know what the classes are of all of these. So this, and so on. One way to see that is I can do sapply to algae, but with the function being class. So it's going to do sapply to the first column, or the first, we can call it a column, or we can call it the first list element, the second column or the second list element, the third column and third list element, and so on. Let's see that. So I want to do this. Sapply and the function I'm going to apply is not the mean or the median or the sum or whatever, but just the class. Okay, so I'm going to apply that to each of the list elements, or in other words, each of the columns. Okay, so we can find out that season is a factor, size is a factor, speed is a factor, miles per hour is a numeric, and everything else, in fact, is numeric. Okay, so that's a kind of interesting example of the S-apply. Okay, in the next video I'll just give one more example, much more advanced example of the S-apply. So I'll stop this one here.